So I got a call from the police station saying they wanted to interview me. I don't even remember applying for a job there. I bought a new boat, but I couldn't afford a motor. The boat dealer felt sorry for me, so he threw in a couple of free paddles. It was quite the ordeal. But in fairness, I should have got it on sale. I only got one oar because then I started paddling in circles because it was either or situation.
Actually painful.
Oh, Christ.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's all I say.
Let's see. Do I want his jokes or do I want COVID? What do I want?
Why did the crab cross the road? It didn't. It used sidewalk. Come on. Oi! Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the Black Dog 182. I'm Lee.
I'm tired.
So am I.
And so's my wife.
I might as well be as well.
Right. Okay. Lovely. Good night, everyone.
A special low energy edition.
Yes. Welcome to the Lee's Alone in a darkened basement talking to himself podcast. Yes. So this week we'll see how everyone's week's been. We'll see if there's any feedback for last week's episode, which he can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, it was the Night of the Hunter. And then we will move on to this week's movie, which is your pick, Dow, which was
Paddington Bear 2.
Paddington 2.
Yes.
Not Paddington Bear 2. He's just Paddington 2.
Paddington 2.
Electric
This time
Boogaloo.
it's war. Yeah.
Yeah. Paddington 2.
This time it's war.
Yeah. Paddington harder. Anyway, right. So, Paddington with
It's not that kind of
vengeance.
film.
I don't know. You were looking for a bear film. Anyway.
Well, yeah, we were. And we're
Yes,
talking
we were.
about Danny Bear and, you know.
No, stop it. Stop. Steady. Please reverse from that conversation. Anyway, right. So before we get to that, let's find out how everyone's week's been. Darren, no, not Darren. What is my bloody format? Jim, it's you, sir.
Yes.
How's your week been, sir?
Increasingly fraught, to be honest. I say it wasn't going sort of too bad. It was whether it'd gone shit in autumnal, so I was happy. Kind of, you're raining all day again. Right, I know what I'm doing. That's fine. We've had the summer. We're into autumn already. That's good.
Yep.
However, kind of a Saturday night, it was just belting down. Our little dog unusually asked to go out. If we have a backyard and she doesn't like to go and do her business in there, she likes to go for a proper walk. But it was kind of like, no, I need to go out like now. And well, basically, she's had a tummy upset, so
Yeah.
she's had to go out at high speed, poor love, every couple of hours the last couple of days. So hence, we went for a walk at midnight last night, and then I was up again at 3:30 with her, and then 7:30. So I'm a bit worse for wear. But anyhow, this is we've had this. Normally, it's not unusual for dogs to, like humans, to get a bit of a tummy bug. But now it's gone on more than 3 days. Today was kind of like, okay, it was the third day. It's not stopping, and she's exactly. She's been fine in herself up until now, but today she was a bit kind of didn't want to eat, and kind of okay, it's time to go to the vet. So we got in the car to go to the vet, and then you may remember we had problems with our car a while ago with the stupid sensors fucking it up.
Oh yeah.
So we set off 5 minutes in the car, and that fucking sensor, same error comes up again. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You can't. Not now. You break down after we've got the vets as much as you like. But anyway, we got the vets, and so she managed not to bite the vet despite her best efforts. One being examined. Being Teresa Wrangler going, oh no, it's fine. And she's like, fucking not. Have him. Get off.
Don't you tell me you get.
But she's got antibiotics for the next few days, and quite lucky for her, recommended diet, a little and often, and recommend either rice and chicken breast or rice and white fish. And now it happens. Chicken breast and like white fish are two of her treat foods we give her. So
Blimey.
she's going to be in high hog
Chianti.
heaven, basically. Yeah. So she's going to be doing well. This is good. I get another bit of chicken every hour. Fresh chicken breast out. Lovely. Thanks, Dad.
Eating better than I am.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be all right. But unfortunately, the car's going back to the garage and says, "Oh, God. No, fucking cars and fucking sensors, you can't." I was so close to giving it a reprogram with a large mallet it would never fucking forget, believe you me. Jesus. But yeah, so Mystic Meg sees in my future a ton of money disappearing again for a tiny bit of diode that's bollocks and doesn't actually contribute to the running of the car at all, but just fucks it up.
No. Yeah, I'll tell you what, take it to Quick Fit. They turn a single issue into a massive expense for an entire new car.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, now this is like it's now kicking up again. We are thinking, we're gonna have to time to get this fixed. Ditch the cunt. And it's going, oh no, not a new car.
No.
God, no. No, it costs too much. No.
I feel that pain. I feel it.
No, it's just a nightmare. He's kind of thanks so much. Cancelling my birthday this year again because of circumstances, and I'm going to. Summer spending plans are off. Brilliant. I'd say I'm going to fuck Tesla and self-driving cars and all this wank. I'm going to invent a car that it's like Meccano. You can fix it yourself with a couple of spanners.
Yeah.
Look, this is a new car. It just fucking works.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any sensors. No, it doesn't have a reversing camera. But I'll tell you what, it'll fucking run for 30 years. And if something goes wrong, you just screw a new bit on.
Yeah, I've seen those. It's like the one with the Pink Panther where you used to rip the nylon cord out the back and off it goes. Don't see why you couldn't have one of them. Easy.
Well, I've often said, we ditch clockwork too early.
Yep. I think so.
But yeah, so that's my week. I'm currently underslept, facing financial Armageddon. After I record this, I might be out 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night.
Oh God!
So,
okay.
It's going to be a fun week. But my social media goes really seriously down the pan by the end of the week, and it's just deranged nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what's happened.
Well, given the weather, chances are you'll be out there and you'll catch bloody pneumonia.
Well, that's a possibility.
Just to really just kind of finish the week off.
Well, that's it. I don't know.
Christ.
Yes, the optimism of last week has now evaporated. I'm back to reality with a vengeance.
Oh, God. Okay.
Being skint and mopping up dog shit. Brilliant. Thank you, Live. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is what I studied in school for 20 years for. This is it. This is what I learned. This is my life. As you go down with the pan and the brush and the Dettol for the 15th time. This is what it's all about.
So I can't complain. She's a good. She knows she goes to the back door where it's all nice tiles where it all wipes up quick.
Well,
no mess on carpets, which is good. And if you're around, she will, no, come on, get me out, human. Come on, get that door open.
Open the fucking door. Nice. Wow.
I can't complain too much, bless her, but it's just depressing.
Oh God.
Yes, that's my week.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Jim's trials of car trials and shitting dogs. That's a lesson for us all. Right. Okay. Elton, what about you, sir?
Well, do you remember a couple of weeks ago we had a feathery friend visit us in one of the wings of our house?
One of the wings of our house.
Yes.
Go
Wingception.
On. Yeah. Was this a pigeon by any chance?
Yes, it was. Yes. Guess what happened today?
He came back with his mates.
A different
crow.
A hawk.
A next
vulture.
A peacock.
A gold eagle. No.
Orville.
Pterodactyl.
Ostrich.
A MiG-25 fighter jet.
The entire cast of Iron Eagle.
Tweed.
Go on. What happened then?
Is that Louis Gossett Jr. in the fucking hobnobs again? Get out of it!
Yeah.
No, just another pigeon in the house, that's all.
Oh,
Oh.
Yes, I know. You do this to me every week.
I know. I've created such a wonderful world out of our imaginations there. And it's like, no, this is reality. It was just another pigeon. Well, it wasn't even a pigeon. It was a sparrow.
We wanted a Chilean condor.
Yep. We wanted fucking Michael Thie's Condor Man. That's what it was.
I
Michael
don't
Crawford.
live in a Wes Anderson movie.
Don't you?
No,
I thought that's what
do
Yoda
not.
was. No.
What about Hawk the Slayer? Did he turn up?
What about Hawk from Buck Rogers in the 25th century? Was he there with his spaceship with the claws?
What about the cast of Airwolf? Stringfellow Hawk? Did he turn up?
No.
No.
Oh.
I'm feeling
What
hot
about
now.
no? Oh, okay.
Water pigeon? Did he turn up? Never mind. Jack Sparrow?
George Seagull.
George Seagull.
Steven Seagal.
Eddie the Eagle. Anyway, Elton, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So I had to shoo another pigeon out of the house. Not terribly exciting. Not as exciting as you guys make it out to be.
You had to shoe a pigeon. What, like a horse? You mean you sat there with like his foot between your legs while it faced the other way? And you had this tiny little hammer
Yes.
and like a horseshoe. And you're just like, nice day for it, isn't it? The parrot's like,
Tang, tang, tang.
so what you up to this weekend?
And then he couldn't take off.
Couldn't take off. Just
Wait
nailed to
till
the ground.
fucking
A 4-pound iron ring just stuck to his foot. What do you mean you can't take off?
He's still stuck there in the same spot.
Is he? Poor little fucker's flapped himself to death almost.
So that's the sequel to Iron Eagle. Shod pigeon.
Yep.
I can almost hear Martin Thompson
God.
desperately trying to AI Google that up.
Yep. ChatGPT.
Oh dear.
Shoeing a sparrow.
Yeah, pigeon in Clark's. Right, okay.
Oh dear. And
Right.
in other news, I got my ticket to go see the band that I want to go see in December, which is nice.
Nah, it's good. We saw
Excellent.
the post. Well done. Golf clap.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes. Cool.
I hope time's been kind to Black Lace.
This used to be therapy, and now it really is not. It's gone
just
all the way the
torture.
other side now.
You-
Let me guess.
Workplace bullying.
Of MTV started doing Unplugged again, and this week it's the when you go, it's going to be Orbital. Yeah.
Utah Saints.
Yeah.
Utah Saints.
Oh.
Oh.
It's just the sound of someone slapping a keyboard.
Yeah. Just
The rest of the Utah Saints sitting round eating those hobnobs we mentioned earlier on.
so
It's an art exhibition.
Utah Saints hobnobs.
Yep.
Mhm.
But getting the tickets wasn't a painful situation, which was really
Really?
nice. Yeah, normally you guys know what it's like to get
We've
tickets.
done plenty of tickets.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
And trying to get them, it's an absolute ball ache, isn't it?
It is.
It's not fun whatsoever. But this was just, they sold out, and they've on some extra dates as well, which is nice. But it wasn't the faff that I was expecting it to be. It was okay. Got onto the website. They held my ticket for so many minutes, and by the time that had happened, I'd already paid for it, so it was awesome. So thank goodness it wasn't a case of refresh. Oh no, they've all been sold to ticket touts, and now you have to pay like at least 3 times the face value. So thank goodness it wasn't like that.
That's good.
Yeah,
that is the worst. Now the other thing, I don't know if anyone else has had this with concerts yet, but you now have to download the bloody app to save the ticket and all that kind of crap.
Really?
Yeah.
I shall get to that in my week.
Because I had that. I first had that with Hans Zimmer at the O2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a fucker for that. His Hans.
Hans.
The last time I spoke to my son, can you cut that fucking shit out and just give us some paper tickets? He went, "Oh yes, of course I will."
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No, he just went. No.
He speaks in bombs.
Yeah. And then Foo Fighters had the same thing as well. You have the app, and you're waiting for the tickets to appear in the app. But they're only released like a week before the bloody event.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting there for like an entire year looking at this blank app, thinking,
"Where do I go to customer support?"
Yeah, where's the hello? Is this on? Hello.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2.
But you'd paid for the ticket, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then they turn up in the app. Is that right?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Right. Okay. So you don't get an email with them or anything. Do you remember when you actually used to get tickets through the post?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you used to be able to keep them as a souvenir.
Yeah. Those little cardboard, wonderful.
Yeah.
And you look forward to seeing them. I've got plenty of them stored away somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And those you have to make your own ones now, and it's not the same.
Still got my Pink Floyd Pulse Earl's Court one.
So have I. I think I've got it in the was it in the DVD? I think I put it in there, stuffed them in the case.
What, the player? Do you find it doesn't play very well?
Well, do you know what I do? I do notice this sort of ticking sound.
You start it up and it goes.
Yep.
No disc.
It sounds like, you know, when you stick a lolly stick in your spokes of your bike. That's what it sounds like for some reason. I don't know why.
Not the most efficient way to eat your ice cream.
No. Do you think that could be something to do with where I've stored the ticket? No.
I think it could be the reason. Could be the reason why your DVD player don't work anymore.
Oh fuck! Right. So it's that simple. Oh, all that money I've spent on those discs with the brushes on the underside. You stick in the lenses.
The CD brush lenses. Oh my god.
Oh yes.
Yep. No, guarantee, governor, it'll work. Honest.
Acting as if like they're little road sweepers.
Yep.
Like, fuck off.
That's right.
I bought it from Tandy. for £1. I even put the little alcohol on it on the brush.
Yeah.
The magic alcohol liquid thing
that gets flung off as soon as it starts spinning.
Yeah. That your mum later tells you smells like nail varnish remover, and you suddenly go, "Oh yeah,
it is.
It is." Yeah, it's isopropyl alcohol. It's rubbish. Okay.
So you have to
3 seconds before it evaporates. Yeah.
So you have to get an app now, and your ticket gets stored on there, but it doesn't turn up until a couple of weeks before you get.
Yeah, until they release the tickets, because the only way you can transfer the tickets is by selling them back through the app, essentially.
Eh? Yeah. So you've bought the ticket. Oh, I can hear Jim just going, "Oh God, he's got to explain something again."
Here we go.
Have you got Photoshop open?
Another tutorial.
Fucking hell. No, basically, nowadays, if you want to sell a ticket, because they want to stop ticket touts, the only way you can sell your ticket is by essentially selling it back.
Oh, see,
through
selling it when you can't go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Okay.
But you can't just and nobody's going to you're not going to give some rando your phone, are you? So the idea is that you have your app, you sell the ticket back into the app and the app just distributes it back out to someone else.
Right, okay.
And then charges you a 10% handling fee.
Oh, really? Do they?
Oh, yeah. So you bought a 80 quid ticket and then you think, I can't go, I'll sell it to someone for 80 quid. But then you can't, so you give it back to the company. The company says, "Oh yeah, we'll take £8 off that."
Yep.
Yeah. And gives you 72 quid.
Yep.
For your £80 ticket,
and then sells it again for a higher price because it's a premium.
Yeah, exactly, and a booking fee.
I hate the world.
It's the inshittification of the universe, my friend, and we're all part of it.
Yeah.
What's that meme going around? I really wish I wasn't living through historical moments in time. Yeah. So yeah, enjoy the world. It's turning to shit.
Anyway, that was my week.
Oh, well, congratulations on getting the ticket.
I shoot a pigeon and got some tickets.
You were an ironmonger for a pigeon. You shooed out Lou Gossett Jr. away from your cookies.
Yep.
And then you got some tickets.
Yeah, that's it.
That's great. That's absolutely cracking. Cool. Well, then we'll move on to you then, Dal. How's your week been, mate?
Oh, more health problems. Fucking COVID for the third time.
Yay, Jesus, third time's the charm.
Christ, yeah. So this is what you get.
You win a fiver for that now.
Oh, you don't win fuck all, mate. I tell you.
Don't the government give you £5? Congratulations, you have got this for the third time.
You don't even get. You don't even get BFH, bus fare home. You don't get that at all. None of that shit at all. So yeah.
So you got COVID for a third time. You know, fourth time you get a set of glass tumblers from the BP station.
Do you? No, I thought you were going to tell me you gained superpowers this time.
No. I can tell you quite categorically, unless it's getting fat and just lying in bed going, ugh, then no, that's not really a superpower.
Oh, so it's not like, well, I mean, knowing my superpower would be
getting COVID.
Yeah, that, or only having X-ray vision when there's a packet of cheese biscuits on the other side of a wall, or something like that. Something really fucking useful. Or flying, only being able to fly if I'm inside a plane that's actually taken off.
Dude, don't start me off. I've still got 3 books worth of shitty superheroes over there.
Have you?
Yeah.
Maybe we should kick those in then. Maybe we should.
What?
Bring
a segment?
A segment? What? It's almost unheard of.
Oh no!
Oh God, no!
That just
shivers down my spine.
He's got a wibble board. Watch out! He's going to start doing impressions of thunder in a moment.
No, I was going to say, have you seen this bit of paper before?
Can you at least wait until I've had a moan? Can you at least wait?
No, I won't do it. I promise.
Studdle.
How rude. Yeah, go on, carry on, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, this is what you get for going away overseas and enjoying yourself. You see, you come back and you get COVID. So
you got French COVID then?
I got French COVID. Yes,
Le COVID.
Yep, exactly. I don't feel, I'm looking at everything with a sense of disdain. Yes.
So and the goal was
exactly. I'm just. It gives me the ability to sit looking cool outside cafes, stuff like this.
You're on your bicycle with your COVID.
Exactly. So
somewhere
wisdom.
Somewhere in Birmingham, there is a sort of angry seething from O'Deal somewhere.
There is. That's it. So yeah, but now this is the thing, right? Okay, I started feeling ill around about midway last week, and I thought maybe I've just got a cold. So it started getting to the point where my nose turned into a running tap, and I thought maybe there's something in this. So
you're a wearsink.
I'm a wearsink, yeah. So I tested myself, and it didn't even wait 15 minutes. The fucker just went COVID, and that was it. I'm not fucking shitting you, right? You know when you do your drops in there, and you see the line slowly go up. the thing. Yeah, you know how you kind of like you see one line appear and you think, all right, well, I'll give it 15 minutes and we'll see how it comes back to. No, it turned straight away.
Yeah.
It fucking just went straight away. So now, you see, a while ago, we bought tickets to a concert that we're going to be going to on Saturday, right? For Garbage, right? Okay, so that's it. So we've got tickets to go see Garbage at Wembley Arena, right? And I'm just hoping that by like Thursday or Friday, I'm going to get my first negative result on the test. So I've had it for nearly a week now. In fact, probably just over a week. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it goes and that I can go to this concert.
Garbage is was it Prince Charles's favourite band, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, because he's only happy when he rains.
Oh, what a fucker!
Do you know what? I'm not the actual Garbage super fan. Rhea is, so I'm going to tell her that joke, and she's going to love it. I can tell. I could just feel it now. I feel it in my bones.
She's going to come and leave a flaming bag of shit on my doorstep, and she is. Yeah.
I feel it in my fingers. Feel it in my toes. Yeah, explode.
Jesus Christ!
Everywhere. So, nice. So yeah, that's basically been my week.
Darren,
I've been trapped in one room for most of it.
Darren,
Yes.
I've got a COVID test. It's clean. It's negative. If you want to buy it off me, yeah.
Nah. Whose COVID test is it?
It's the pigeon. The pigeon. He's got a high iron content, but it's I wouldn't possibly suggest faking a COVID result. That would be immoral.
That would be terrible. That would be awful, wouldn't it?
How much? Yeah.
Oh God, no! I just please, just
Oh dear.
So yeah.
So what happens if you can't do it? You just if it doesn't clear.
Probably have to sell the tickets back to fucking Ticketmaster.
Nice.
Mickey Tasker. Them.
What, in an app?
In an app, yeah.
In an app.
Or maybe in an ape.
An ape, yeah.
There was a slight typo.
I've got to sell my tickets in an ape.
Which one?
I've got to be in an ape, literally. How deep? Sorry, it was a spelling mistake. Oh, of course it was. I knew that. Yep, all along. Yep.
I've got to sell a tocket through an ape.
Yep.
What shall I do with this ape now that I've got this thing? What do I do with it?
What do I do?
He's on a promise now. I mean, this is it. He will be so disappointed. Look at his sad little face.
Yeah, he thought he was getting a ticket and everything. It's going right through him.
He was going to get something. It wasn't a ticket. Anyway.
Nah. Nice. Lovely. So apart from forcibly stuffing tickets up Simeon's buttholes, what else have you been doing? Anything?
No, that's it. I've been stuck indoors. I've not really been able to do. Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry. My apologies. Before I went ill, I read 2 graphic novels. One by accident, and the other one was the one I actually meant to get.
Is he a good writer?
Who?
By accident.
By accident. Very funny. No, originally I started looking for a graphic novel with a thing called Heroes in Crisis, right? Which is
self-help book.
It's sort of. It's all about a place, a secret hospital that's been set up by Superman, Batman, and I think it's Wonder Woman. And what it is, it's for heroes who suffer from mental health issues like PTSD from like being in battle for too long and whatever. And it starts off with Superman turning up there and everybody's been slaughtered There's one or two heroes that are not just like ones that have been made up for the purpose of that story. There's, I think, like the Flash is one of them. They're all sort of like disemboweled and stuff like this. And it's like, what the fuck has gone on here? So originally, I wanted that one, and it's mainly what drew it to me is the fact that you get every couple of pages, you get like a clip from the interview that they do with the therapist there, because the therapist in this place is it's an AI that's got Kryptonian sort of like technology running through it and stuff like this, and it's got the wisdom of this hero and the strength of that hero, and it's those that are the interesting thing about the story. That's the thing that really kind of sold it to me. And some of them are really quite sort of sad. Batman's one, especially, because he's actually turned up there and gone. Superman's been there. Wonder Woman's one's quite sort of, oh no. But yeah, really good read. But the one that I actually picked up, because I thought this is what I thought the actual novel was called, and I think it was misquoted on a post. Somebody just posted a page from it on Facebook. And it was Identity Crisis, which is it's kind of got the same sort of thing about it. It's the wife of a elongated man is found dead in their house, and the thing is, the house itself, because they went public, her and her husband, with their sort of like their true identities and stuff. It was all the security was beefed up on it, like Martian Manhunter did his thing, Batman put some stuff in there, and it was sort of like locked down tight. Nobody could get in. But for some reason, she dies, and nobody can tell, like, how the fuck did this happen? And then one or two other things start occurring as well, and it's like, oh, somebody's out to hit the families, but who is it? And it's this whole thing of trying to figure out who it is that's done this crime, and along the way you find out something quite unsavory about, I think it's the Justice League of America, and something that they had to do to a villain called Dr. Light. I'm not going to say any more than that, but it's pretty kind of fucking hell. I think you've crossed the line,
right?
So and yeah, it kind of gets revealed. I think one of the major heroes finds out and is not happy at all. So yeah, that was also a good read as well. So yeah, Identity Crisis and Heroes in Crisis.
DC do like a crisis, don't they?
Oh, they do. Yeah, but yeah, especially Heroes in Crisis. That's really well written, I thought. Especially those bits where it gives a psychological breakdown. Booster's Gold features in this mainly, but he's actually really quite good in it, because he doesn't know whether he's sane or not going through this, because he was one of the only people to survive the slaughter, him and Harley Quinn. And so it's kind of like she thinks he did the murders and he thinks she did. And it's them two having to kind of work together.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's a real sort of, I didn't see that team up on my bingo card for this year, but it actually works quite well.
Okay.
I thought there were some couple of nice little moments between the two of them where they're just talking. So yeah, character stuff in this is really, really good. I'm not sure whether you'll like the ending of it. It's kind of, the ending is kind of, I don't know. You think it's going to be a lot bigger than it is, and it turns out to be a real simple, real sort of non-earth-shattering reason why all this is happening.
It was all a dream.
No, it wasn't all a dream. It's still a little bit twisted, but I don't know. But still, it's worth it just for the bits in the actual story itself, I thought.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
There you go.
Right. Okay.
All good.
Cool. Right. Well, I guess my week. Yeah, not a lot's been going on in my week. So I'll just stick with the two things I watched. The first one was after last week. I thought, you know what? I've got 2 more episodes to go. I'll watch the last 2 episodes of Fallout. No, my mind hasn't changed. The person who told me to stick with it because it all comes together now needs to go and find somewhere to hide, because when they said it all comes together in episode 4, then it was episode 5. Turns out it was actually the last episode that everyone comes together. And it's just like, for fuck's sake.
Don't listen to that person ever again. In fact, don't go on recommendations. Don't tell anybody you're watching another show like that, because you'll just get, oh yeah, no, you got to watch this because you know, oh you finished episode 3. Well, you know, it's episode 4.
It's episode 4. It gets better.
Yeah,
fuck off. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not. We hit the end. We hit the cliffhanger with the season 2 setup thing, and Carol was like, I don't know if I'll ever watch the next season, and I'm like, I know I probably won't. I mean, I'm just not interested, so that's the end of that. Especially that poxy kind of last shot of kind of like, hey, guess what? Do you remember this? And it's just, oh, fuck. Anyway.
Yeah, you see, this is the problem, right? This isn't an adapted universe. That's the thing. It's part of the game universe, so you've got to have that kind of stuff in it. This is the problem that you have with this. You know, it's you can, with other shows where they just kind of adapt it and have their own universe that runs alongside what the original thing, you can turn around and really go, oh, you just put that in there as fan service. And it's like, well, actually, you've got to kind of follow along with this, especially with some of the stuff that you've put in it. If you'd seen some of the people losing it online with a certain, you know, destruction of a certain place, and how much that caused online, when it's like, I'm looking at this thinking, no, they wouldn't do this without a proper reason. And I was right. A lot of people misread something, and yeah, it's just, you fuckers need to just calm down a bit and just take a step back and take a look again, and you'll see.
I think the problem for me is that after Last of Us, which basically stuck almost like glue to the main story and made variations where it made sense. Something like Fallout, which is pretty much an open-ended story. It's, you know, there's bits and pieces in the TV show from the game.
It's all from the game.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm trying to say is it's not problem. No. What I mean is the story of Lucy, for example.
Yeah.
That plot isn't in a particular game, is it? There's bits and pieces of it from the game, like the plot with what she's getting and where she's taking it. That's a side quest.
Yeah, what you're seeing is basically Fallout 4.5. Okay, because it's the bridge between what's coming next.
But that's my point. Fallout is an open world game that you can play in any way, shape, or form, and take your time, or not do anything, or finish the whole thing in a week. And whereas something like Last of Us, which is narratively driven, the story is following the narrative. So, you know, there are variations and adaptations you do for a TV show to make it a TV show, and that's fair enough. But Fallout hasn't generally got a story. Your games are basically your story in a open world. So the problem is that that's the problem I had with the whole show. I'm watching it thinking, I recognize these things, I recognize these bits, I recognize certain plot threads, I recognize that sort of stuff, but it's not a coherent narrative.
It actually is. That's the thing. Right? If I'd watched it and I was disappointed with it, if I didn't think it made sense, I would have been the first one I'd like to fucking tear this shit down, right? But the way they've done it is it takes place a few years after Fallout 4. And then, so you've got it in its own nice contained little bubble. So what they're doing takes place between a couple of years after the last game, and it will probably finish a few years before the next one. So,
but my point is that someone who's not played the games, has only the information that's presented in the show.
Yeah,
and so it's all a bit it's all a bit lightweight. Is my point.
Right.
So,
okay, but I mean, I can see where
yeah.
you're coming from on that. It's a real difficult position
For the game.
they've put themselves in with this.
Mm.
It's like, if it was an adaptation, then you could play fast and loose with some of it, right?
Mm.
But because it's set within the game universe, there's things that I now notice that it's like there's some tiny little things that I notice about it. It's like, well, if this is set within the game universe, why do the cars look like that? Like they're out of the 40s when they don't look like that in the game. They all look like this retro future sort of version of the 50s. They don't look like they actually come from the 50s.
But that's the point. It becomes neither fish nor fowl. It's neither slavish enough for the fans to go, this is 100% fidelity, nor is it coherent enough for newbies who know nothing about it to come to it and go, okay, I know nothing about this world. Give me a story in it. And it doesn't give you a story in it. It gives you half a dozen stories in it and keeps flip-flopping around all over the place. And only coming together in the last episode. And it's like, cool, but why do I care, sort of thing. But again, I'm sure the shoe will be on the other foot once certain other franchise gets finally adapted. And I go, well, if you listen to the episode, so I'm sure that I'll keep my mouth shut before I say it's too much, because otherwise I'm sure I'll be on the other side of that fence and that argument soon enough.
Well, so I'll just say, I mean, I know Fallout 1 and 2, and very little after that. And I loved the show, and Teresa didn't know Fallout at all.
Yeah,
and was thoroughly absorbed by it. And now we're playing the games. And certainly for Fallout 4, I think the series is a good match for the world, because that has that retro 50s. The look of the game done very well. Actually, it's a good match. So
it has the look of the game done well. I'll give you that. I mean, the production design, the sound design, all that stuff is all on the nose. I mean, if I was a proper Fallout fan, I'm sure I'd be very happy with the whole thing. But I don't know, just it didn't click with me. So,
do you know what? It's not going to work for everyone. That's it. Full story. I mean, that's like with any show.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be happy with it. But I'll tell you what it has done, right? Okay. Now that I've watched this show and I've seen how you make a proper Brotherhood of Steel costume, I go, whenever I see anybody making one now for their cosplay, there's always the one thing that kind of, I don't know, I notice now. And it's
they can't remove their codpiece?
No, it's not that. It's the width of the shoulders, because the whole suit in the show is now in proportion, right? And it's like, I'm watching this. This is like, I've seen this thing walk out on stage, right? So that's a real suit, and that the whole thing is excellent, and it's all well proportioned, right? I've seen some cosplays that have tried to do the suit, and it's always the head is now the biggest thing on it. And it just looks, and that's kind of curse you TV show. I was enjoying all these cosplays. Now it's just like, I can't not see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but these people have done so much work on their outfits, but it's just like, nope, it's the fly on the Christmas cake. That's it.
Yep.
My eyes,
notice it.
Exactly. My eyes are drawn to it now. And it's just, I feel like such a git thinking that, but it's, what can I say?
Yep. It's the way it is.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's like a Warhammer cosplays as well. Now I've seen the Brotherhood of Steel thing is like, proportions important.
I can't unsee it.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
I'm a cosplay snob.
You are. Yep. You are. Yes, you are. Right. The only other thing I was going to say I've seen is Longlegs.
Okay.
The movie, which seems to have done a very, 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 very good job of doing very, very, very ambiguous trailers and scariness.
Right. Yes, I saw the trailer. I was intrigued.
Mm-hmm. It's a game very much of two halves, and it will rely very much on
Jumpers for
your.
goalposts. Yeah.
Sorry,
Jumpers for goalposts. Oh, get to the park, kicking a ball around. Oh, time to go over to you. Oh.
Yeah, but it really is going to. It's really going to rely on your tolerance for Nick Cage.
Oh, that's depends.
Mm.
Depends on what Nick Cage we get, really.
Right. Okay. So I'll give you the basic plot.
Yep.
Right, because this is not spoiling anything, because this is pretty much all in the trailer. So essentially, it's an X-Files, Silence of the Lambs, Criminal Minds style investigation movie.
Right.
Yeah, essentially about someone in the FBI investigating a mysterious cold case that seems to have reoccurred.
Mm-hmm.
The cold case is that families will basically be murdered by the patriarch. No one appears to go in. No one appears to leave. No one appears to have. So essentially, it's a murder-suicide because the dad then kills themselves after murdering the family.
Right.
So everyone just thinks suicide, bang, bang. Except for the fact that in every single case over the last 30 years, there's a coded message with all these glyphs all over it and the word Longlegs at the bottom. Yeah, every single one of these murder sites.
Right.
And that's pretty much all I'm going to tell you. Because the rest of it is literally dripping every frame with anxiety and fear and tension and unease and just generally making your skin crawl at every single second. The shots are beautifully composed. There's so many times where the camera plays with, how can I put it, with making you feel like there's something there when it's not.
Right.
So you know when you watch a horror film,
yes,
and you sort of see like the main character's sort of doing something in the foreground, and then the camera slowly moves slightly to the left or to the right. Yeah. I'm sure all four of us will know that is usually shorthand for here comes the big scary bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Except sometimes nothing does. But it's hanging there for an uncomfortably long time, and you're sitting there like looking at a door over the main character's shoulder that's open at night, and you're thinking, "There's something there. I'm sure of it. I'm sure there's something there."
What a bastard!
And you're just sitting there, and then nothing. And then there'll be other times you're looking at it, and you're thinking, "Oh, there's nothing there," and you see something, you're like, "Oh, fuck." And there's a lot of that, and there's no what I'd call like naff jump scares. However, for 90% of the runtime, it's that. I won't spoil anything of it for you. I will not tell you what else the plot is about or where it goes or anything, because when it does turn up, I will stick it on the docket. But the one thing I will say that everyone needs to be clear about is Nicolas Cage is in this. Yeah.
Okay.
And when he first appears, you don't know it's him.
Really?
No. But as soon as he opens his mouth, as soon as he moves, as soon as he does anything, you go, that's Nicolas Cage. And that's Nicolas Cage in some really bad makeup that makes him look like Barbra Streisand went headfirst into a wasp's nest.
Oh, yeah. So he doesn't turn up as a cat, as a sexy cat.
No, he doesn't turn up as a sexy cat. No.
No. Okay.
No. And the makeup he's wearing is bizarre. It is, and it's not like deliberately made to look bad. It just looks bad. But for the most part, he's not in it, or he's in shadow, or he's miles away, or he's just a looming presence. That's fine. The problem is, as soon as he gets into full frame camera, he becomes, I'm Nicolas Cage. I'm the dark. Oh, and you're like, oh, fuck off. And it literally takes all the atmosphere, all the mystery, all the ominous nature of the whole thing, which you still, even when he's around and you think you've got to handle it, you really haven't. And it just gets the whole beautifully tensioned, all the beautiful tension, and it just goes up with a pin and goes and just pops it every time.
Oh,
and
no.
then the film has to fight to get it all back again. Now, I went to see this at the Prince Charles, and I was going to see it in the small screen, but it got oversubscribed, so they moved it to the big screen, which was both a blessing and a curse, because I went there and there was about 500 people in this thing, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to be bloody horrible. People are going to be kicking me, say, Urgh.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was such that you could have heard a pin drop in this cinema for the whole 2 hours.
Wow.
That should tell you something.
Ooh.
The only problem with that is that the soundtrack, which is very atonal and a bit squonky and a bit weird and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Don't sit by a speaker tweeter, which does the high pitches, because when certain things occur or when certain things happen and the sound goes a bit weird, it has a really high pitched tinnitus kind of beep white noise.
Oh,
and
God,
if you're
really?
sitting, and if you sit where I was sitting, which was right down the front, thinking, oh, I'm sitting right down the front in the small cinema. No, at the front of the big cinema. And then all of a sudden, it was like a needle going through my eyes. It was just like, I came out with a massive headache. So 2 things. Longlegs, 90% of it is an excellent film. 10% of it is Nicolas Cage and a soundtrack which literally is like a subliminal shard of glass being driven through your temples.
Okay.
But it works because it makes you feel uneasy.
Right.
But maybe your speakers on your telly or a different cinema won't give you that. But if you're sitting right by the front, by the little speaker tweeter things, oh my good Lord. Oh my giddy aunt, I was in pain. I was in a lot of pain. Yeah, I really was.
Right.
So I give it a tentative thumbs up.
Tentative thumbs up.
Yeah, because I would say that it's worth seeing, but if you don't like Nicolas Cage, or if something about Nicolas Cage puts you off, especially when he dials things up to 11,
yeah,
if that puts you off, then he could actually completely decimate this film, because it's like a beautiful China doll, expertly constructed, beautifully crafted, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and goes, "Pachow! They got the teeth of the Hydra upon you!" And you're like, "Oh, fuck off!"
Jesus Christ!
And you're like, "Oh, God, Lord, if you got anyone else to do this film, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Why him?" And then that was that. So, yeah. But and also the film feels like it needs to explain everything at the end, which I didn't appreciate. But some people might. But there you go. So yes, I will say no more about it because, like I say, if it turns up on if it turns up on digital, which I suspect it might do once it's done its cinema run, which will be pretty short because it's not on big screens. It's just art house cinemas it's playing. I will put it on the docket because I think there's a lot to talk about, especially from a horror history perspective and a detective movie perspective. Because I think, Jim, if you see this film, I think you'll have a lot to appreciate or at least point at and go, I see this before. I've seen this before. And I know this, and this is a trope, and this is a trope. Because I kept feeling like that was I was missing things. I was like, this shot's there for a reason, and I don't know why. And it was bugging me, but it was good. It was good. But
have you seen any of his other movies?
The Black Coat's Daughter, I saw.
Yeah. Well, I did think that's a really good little movie. Just like a little well told.
Well, if you like that, then you'll love Longlegs. It's got that same vibe. It's got that same ominous feel of creeping dread. Cool. So yeah, that was it. That was my week basically. Yeah, really, that's it. I'll leave it there. Before we go any further, we do have feedback. We did watch Night of the Hunter last week. And we got a written piece of feedback which came from Gary Madden. Again, he wrote to us on feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, and he wrote, and I quote, here we go. He says, "Greetings, doggies. By happy coincidence, this week's film is just one I've intended to watch for quite a while. It's been on my personal list, but I've been keep getting it bumped back by films I thought would be more interesting or better suited the mood of the moment. It was good to finally have a motivating factor to look at Night of the Hunter and give it a watch. I'm a fan of old movies, especially film noir, so I went to this film with a lot of hope. In the end, though, it turned out to be a bit of a mixed bag. The story was good, but tough, and a little triggering for me personally. The cast did a great job, and the plot was compelling. A side note, the true story that inspired Night of the Hunter happened fairly near my hometown. In fact, I've attended Roots charismatic Christian services, and Harry Powell would easily fit into some of those pulpits. Pretty chilling. The strong point for me was Mitchum's performance. I saw him in Cape Fear, which I think is a stronger film overall, and he got a real bent for playing a psycho. Like a real psycho, he can be outwardly pious, moral, and smooth, and instantly switch to a sadistic monster behind closed doors. A scene that struck me was Powell howling like a demon when the kids escaped to join on the John boat. There's also a story of right hand, left hand, which worked his way into cinematic consciousness pretty much for all the time. The noir elements were a lot less successful for me, though. They felt flat or mostly comical in some places, and generally they pulled me out of the story more than they added nuance. So there are also some small things like Powell going all Three Stooges when he's shot with a shotgun full of buckshot, which apparently does nothing more than scare him real bad. A major issue is the portrayal of the women in the film. For the most part, female characters are portrayed as simpletons who practically become Powell's zombie servants, or for a cheap magazine and ice cream sundae. At least Rachel, the heroine, who finally brings Powell's reign of terror to end, was an exception to the rule. Anyway, glad to check this one off the list, and thanks for choosing it. Take care, Gary Madden. P.S. If this hasn't already been covered, do any of you know why the title The Night of the Hunter was selected for this film? It doesn't take place in one night, and there isn't a lot of hunting involved, so what gives? I'll be perfectly honest, Gary, I have not a clue. Not the first freaking clue.
Well,
however,
it's an adaptation of a novel, and the title comes from the novel, so... but I've not read the novel, so I can't see how different it is.
Yeah, I was going to say... yeah.
So the novel might be a lot more of a straight cat and mouse game, mystery thriller. Because you know Hollywood, you know how different books become when they become movies. Having not read the book, I can't tell you, but the title does come from the book, and possibly it's well, it's also in an age where, well, we're still in an age now where people will go with the title because it sounds cool rather than actually make sense.
Yeah. What's this killer mockingbird? He never goes anywhere near an Avery. Anyway. Right. Well, thank you very much for that, Gary. Yes. And thank you, Jim, for the explanation. And like if you want to send any feedback like Gary's, do send it in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. On the Facebook group, we had a couple. We had Instead, Spaceship, who said, apologies for the aircraft frothing. Shinden. Turns out I have COVID, but I'm on the mend now, and that explains the delirium. Yeah, holding the flight stick to eject was a bit odd. I think you have to give it a good hard yank, misses, to fire an ejection seat. Useless info number 2. The Germans did indeed give the Japanese some gear during World War II, hence the seat. Oh, and the Me-262 jet. Now that would have been cool if you did not use the Shinden. Okay, we're into planes again. We're into planes. I'm happy you're feeling better after the COVID, though. But
is that where I got it from? Oh, it was him.
Yeah, it was him. He literally beamed it into your head.
He certainly did. He was listening on a podcast. That's what it was.
That's it. Peter Organ, Reverend Organ of the broadcast.libsyn.com, he wrote and said, I couldn't engage with Night of the Hunter. The plot was too odd, the acting variable, and I read that Mitchum turned up on set drunk quite a bit. And I can well believe it from his performance. Some of the shots were beautifully framed, though, including the iconic Mrs. Cooper sat with a shotgun across her lap. And at least I know now where Sideshow Bob gets his love hat tattoos from now. Oh, yeah, love and hat.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that, Peter. Ian Stead also comes back because we mentioned Gladiator 2, didn't we, last week, and saying about how it was just all the bits that Ridley couldn't film in the first Gladiator, like the water in the Colosseum and whatnot. And Ian comes back and says, by the way, the flooding in the arena of the Roman times was actually a thing. They'd actually stage real naval battles in some of larger arenas. So there you go. More you know. Bling! History Channel. And finally, we have John Campion, who came in and said, how much can I go on about Night of the Hunter? It's a masterpiece, constantly asking us about the attraction of evil and why good people fall for bad ideas and bad people. Mitchum is utterly magnetic. We know he's a wrong-un, but damn, he's compelling. Even the cinematography is simultaneously gorgeous and disturbing, dreamlike yet with harsh angles and deep shadows everywhere in the frame. Duel between love and hate is one of those moments with a cultural resonance way beyond the originating art, but it's just one of the many scenes in this film that will stay with you like the stones in your shoe. Looking forward to hearing what everyone else thinks about it. There you go. John. Thank you very much for that, John. There you go. Nice. See, we've got balance. We've got people who like it, people who hate it, and people who really like it. And if you want to throw your 2 pennyworth in for that film or this film or any film we review, then by all means, jump on the Facebook group and go to facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast and leave a little message underneath the episode. Unless, of course, it's about airplanes, in which case I might dip out of that because I don't know what you're talking about. Brilliant. Anyway, right, let's leave it there. Let's wrap this section up, and when we come back, we will be reviewing Paddington 2. Roll the jingle.
Look, can you just stop stalling and answer the question? What is your third favorite movie of all time?
Paddington 2.
What? Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Paddington 2. Connect those dots. I mean, I don't want to be a snob, but...
I cried through the entire thing and made me want to be a better man.
Bullshit, Mom! Paddington 2 is incredible.
I fucking told you.
So, Paddington 2 is a 2017 live-action animated comedy film directed by Paul King, written by King and Simon Farnaby. Simon Farnaby, you may recall, if you've got kids, is one of the many members of the Horrible Histories original crew, not that second crew that came up and ruined the whole fucking thing. The stories is based on Paddington Bear, created by Michael Bond, to whom the film is dedicated, as having died the year before the film was released. And yes, and it stars Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Brendan Gleeson, Julie Walters, Jim Broadbent, Peter Capaldi, Hugh Grant, and of course the voice of Ben Whishaw as the titular character Paddington. The film it was released November the 5th, 2017 in London. And then it was made for a budget of $40 million. How much do you reckon it made at the box office, Elton?
One marmalade sandwich. Yes, I got into the marmalade sandwiches.
Yeah, I was wondering who was going to get there first.
You bastard.
I couldn't think of anything. I was there we go. There's a nice
utter bastard.
Okay, Jim.
$200 million very hard stares.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Dal?
Oh, just 10 minutes of Peter Capaldi being grumpy.
See that bear? Everything's been so much better since you gone. You the same doctor I just heard? What the fuck? No, actually, you're all wrong. What it actually was a it was 100 million juicy oranges for the making of Marmalade in a Prison.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah. No, it actually made $227.3 million.
Wow.
From a 40 million budget. So it's done quite well. And you'll be none too surprised to learn that Paddington in Peru, the third one, is already underway.
I already looked up the trailer, mate. So, yep.
So there you go. Right, so we're going to go around the table very quickly. No spoilers. I don't know how you could spoil this movie, but let's just stick to the formula. Stick to the formula.
I was going to say, let's try it.
Let's try it. What do you think? Let's just. You remember that thing called a formula? Should we stick to that format? So anyway, okay. So let's go around the table. Darren, you picked this, so you go last. So let's. What do you think of Paddington 2, Elton?
It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean it's my type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why people like it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that I like it. I would not put this on to watch it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I only watched this because we were reviewing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if my children were younger, I would have nostalgic, how the kids say, and I flipping hate it, but feels for it. This movie did nothing for me. I don't know whether that was because I was sat there going, no, you mustn't do anything, any feelings whatsoever to me. And there may be a bit of a pushback on it. But no, it doesn't do anything for me. I think it looks great. I think it's I think it's a great movie, but no, not for me.
Fair enough. So I'll put you down in the callous, heartless bastard.
Has it got cold in here all of a sudden? I think I need a jumper.
I'm sorry. Do I have to? Do I have to enjoy it? Do I have to fall into that?
It feels very desolate.
Oh, that's so. Yeah, okay. I will follow the Pedro Pascal thing of it. Oh, it's the greatest movie ever. Oh, look at that! I can't say anything wrong. It's the greatest movie ever. If you say wrong, then you're wrong. Yeah.
You're only making it worse for yourself.
Yeah.
But you do know that.
Wow.
It's like kicking a puppy, you callous bastard. Anyway, no. Cool. Okay. So Elton's identifying its greatness, but not for him. Jim, what about you?
This is a second time watch for me. I really enjoyed it a second time. It's just it's such an inventive movie, more inventive than it needed to be, more artistic than it needed to be. If only I did have one niggle at this time around, and that is I don't think it's as good as Wonka. But Wonka is the third movie from this same team, so think how good Paddington 3 is going to be on the slope of.
Yeah,
where you're coming from? Paddington 1, Paddington 2, Wonka, Paddington in Peru. I could stop time.
Wow. So Jim's fully on the Pedro Pascal train. Right. Okie dokie. Well, for me, this is like the 5th time I've seen this film. Elton's right in pointing out that I did have young children in the 2017 era, 2014 when the first one came out. So I do have that in terms of the way I view this film. What I will say is that there aren't many films where I will watch them because they're actually just nice. I mean, I think I can count the amount of nice films, and by that I mean just, you know, if you look at like all of Disney's output, you go Disney and you see like 1,000 Disney princess fucking cobblers and 700 listen to your feelings, everyone's wonderful, it's a great world after all, and it all just feels cynical and sludgy and cookie cutter and fucking naff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Paddington feels like it had some genuine warmth and invention and just nice.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
It's wholesome.
That's very true. I think that's very true. And it's got a certain innocence to it, which I think you can't fake.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas something like a Disney product, and I do say product in a derogatory term, if you watch anything on Disney now, you stick it on random and go to the Disney part of the Disney Channel, then you tell me if there's anything there that makes you feel even the remotest touch of a human emotion.
Yeah.
And not feel like things are just being packaged up because little girls like the princesses and the little boys like the heroes and we all like the toys. So, you know, that's why Toy Story worked so well and Toy Story 2 worked so well and Inside Out worked so well because they were made with genuine love and passion and innocence for the material.
Yeah.
Once Disney gets hold of it, it just turns it into like pink paste that just is harmless. And Paddington's got some teeth if you look below the surface, but it's actually wholesome. And I really appreciated that. And I am not ashamed to say that I can't watch this film without going the full Nicolas Cage. It's genius by the end. I just can't. I don't know what it is. It presses those buttons every fucking time. And there's a little demon inside me, like David Tennant in Good Omens, just sitting there staring at me incredulously, going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
While the outside me is going, "I Aunt Lucy, she's..." So, you know, it's a weakness, and maybe I'm not judging it fairly, but I don't often like nice films. I don't like films which are packaged as nice, but this one works. There you go. Darren, to you?
Yeah. Okay. Now, as much as I like things like post-apocalyptic movies and stuff like that, every once in a while, I have to watch something that is, as you say, nice. That's set in a world where the worst thing that can happen is that, you know, oh dear, I've left my bag of crisp indoors. I like films that are that kind of level of just, I don't know, films are meant to take you out of reality, right? And meant to give you a bit of a time off, I think, personally. The best films are the ones that do that. They get you away from your everyday worries and send you to a place that's better, you know, that's generally not doom and gloom, which we've got plenty of in this world as it is. So I don't see why I should really, on the surface, should have to watch more stuff like that just to add to it. I know I do, but there you go. But then you get a film like this comes along, and it is set in a world where nothing terrible really happens. You know, the like I say, the most terrible thing that happens isn't really terrible at all. But you can see it affects those characters, and where genuinely also people do have deep down, most of them do have a good side, and there is something good about them. And when you get a character like Paddington who goes in innocently with everything, you know, and makes that other character be better. I do like watching stuff like that. You know, when it comes along every once in a while, and this is just, that's sort of perfect encapsulation here in this film. I think, you know, it just, you know, it's going to be all right. you know, that it's going to come together. And I get what you mean about the Disney thing. I think the best analogy I can come up for with that is when Disney tries to make something sweet, they hit it with a dumper truck full of fucking sugar, right? Whereas this sticks a little bit of icing sugar in a sieve and just sprinkles it lightly over the top.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not mawkish or it's not gawking. You know, it's not making you want to fucking throw up. It's just nice. It just, I don't know. It just is. Yeah. And as you say, it's inventive. There's some lovely little bits in this. I did love the bit with the Paddington bear hard stare. That I thought was particularly lovely, and it's just the way they put that in there, and the effect of it. Is it getting hot here? Exactly, you know, and it's the way everybody comes together, and it's just really nice. That's it. It's just,
yes,
it is a lovely piece of escapism. That's it. So,
cool.
And after the last couple of days we've had in the world with certain things going on. Yeah, this was nice. Thanks very much. I'll take that.
Cool. Excellent. Right. Well, that's our thoughts. That's our thoughts on it. If you haven't seen Paddington 2, then, you know, pause this podcast, go watch it, come back, and then carry on, because we will spoil it. I don't think it'll be a particularly in-depth or long review. Comedies don't tend to be. But, you know, it's still, we might drop something you might not want to hear, especially if you haven't seen the film at all. So let's do the inevitable, cacophony of noise that signals our spoiler zone. Here we go.
Baby, baby,
put your helmet on. We'll be reaching. Shut up, Wesley.
Right, so here we are on the spoiler zone. And I think the problem is we're going to just go too effusive on it, right? So in some ways, it's too easy to overhype this film. Do you agree? Do you guys agree?
No, it is. We need to drill deep and not just go, it's great, but say why it's great. What makes it work?
Yeah.
What makes it... I mean, you're not going to find out what's going to make it special, because if you could do that, every film would be Paddington 2 or of a similar quality, because it is that. Some films just have an X factor. But I think there's a lot in here to unpack about the way it's made. And I say, I think it's like, I mean, here it is kind of, it's not dissimilar to a Wes Anderson film.
No.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then that kind of, it's presenting you with a very stylized and deliberately stylized universe to a specific end.
Well, then let's start with that then. I mean, did the film's unreality become a problem at any point? Or, because the problem is that reviewing a comedy is always tough, because if it's slightly surreal or slightly weird or slightly off, you kind of, it's like explaining the joke makes it unfunny. You're kind of rummaging through the cake to find the raisins, kind of thing, and it's just, you'll end up destroying it. So, in fact, I tell you what, I don't want to focus on you, Elton, because you didn't not like it, but you just wasn't for you. But I think we need a little salt in the sugar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's fine. Where do I begin? So, I can really appreciate what they have done. Jim, you're absolutely right. Wes Anderson all the way through this. There are so many colourful scenes. It's brightly lit. It's majestic. It's wholesome, as we've said earlier on. It has all these traits to it, which I think people need that comfort, and it is. I think in years to come, it will be a comfort movie for many, many people. And when I had young kids, there were a couple of movies that we sit down and watch, and every now and again, I want to just go watch them on my own, because it kind of reminds me of that time. as well, because I know my kids won't sit down and watch that sort of thing with me anymore. And I would imagine there'll be hundreds of thousands of families who have this as one of their movies. And I think that's brilliant for absolutely everyone. And it's not a case of it's too sickly sweet that I'm like, oh, turned off by it or anything like that, because I don't think it goes anywhere near there. As you said before with the Disney stuff, it is a bit too, we must hammer this, either this line home or this subject home. And it doesn't really hammer anything home. I think what it does well is it gives you great characters all the way through. It gives you great settings all the way through. The cast is superb all the way through. At no point do you think, oh, this is a bit over the top, is it? Because I think it reins itself in ever so slightly. There are some amusing moments, I thought. I never really laughed out loud about it, but I thought that the characters were really well balanced, that I didn't feel that one was too evil or too funny or the light entertainment in there. I don't think anyone really filled them roles. But I think it was a nice joining of such a well-balanced cast that it gets you through. There are, like the Hugh Grant character, he's not exactly evil. I don't think he's evil. And without him actually meeting Paddington, then I don't think any of this would have actually happened. He would have just carried on and done shows, and there would be no film.
Eating dog food. Dog food must not be consumed by humans.
And keep going up into his attic and having these little conversations with himself, which I think is brilliant. It's so lightly done. And it's not offensive to anyone. That there is no jokes that anyone would find offensive or anything, or any situations that find offensive. There's light-hearted moments all the way through this. Turning all the everything pink in the prison. Just I'm sure one red sock won't make any difference. But it is that thing that it just joys everything up, and I can really appreciate it for. And I'm a bit gutted that I don't go, oh, do you know what? Fuck, it really got me. That was got me in the warm and fuzzies, but it didn't. And
not everything will.
No, but I don't think I'm the target audience for this anymore.
We really will. Can I ask you a question? I mean this not as a ding. I just want to ask it just out of curiosity.
Am I a grumpy bastard? Probably.
No. Yeah. How much of a cunt are you? No. No. I was
you have a scale here.
Yeah, I've got a scale here from C to T. Where do you think you come on this rate?
Oh, I'm all over that spectrum. Don't worry.
No, I was gonna say, have you ever watched Horrible Histories? The first 3 seasons?
No.
Okay. Now, the only reason I say that is because I'm going to take a guess. Jim, you have?
Oh, yes.
Darren, I'm guessing you have?
Stupid deaths.
Yep. They're funny because they're true. Anyway. Next time it's not you. Anyway, the thing is, that is the humor of Horrible Histories. There's a kind of, how can I put this? Innocent Monty Python for kids.
Yep.
Right? So there's lots of horrible things, but it's presented in a nice way.
Yeah.
So, for example, the jokes about a Nordic king who pooed himself to death, or or one of the Viking kings who was murdered by an assassin who was actually sitting underneath like a toilet, and so when the guy sat down to shit, they shoved a knife right up his arse. How do you present it to a 10-year-old? Well, these guys figured it out and made it a joke, and actually got the information across. And it is that Monty Python, slightly surreal, slightly on the weird scale, which you either go with or you don't. And I'm wondering if, because we've seen this show, we're kind of pre-prepped. Because one of the writers is actually the writer of Paddington 2.
Yes. There's another reference point, though, as well. Because Simon Farnaby was also not a regular part of the cast, but he made several appearances in The Mighty Boosh.
Yes.
And Paul King, who directed this movie, directed the Mighty Boosh TV series.
Yeah.
And there's sort of a crossover in that kind of flight of fantasy, particularly from like season 2 of the Mighty Boosh, where he's creating a completely world like ours that's more colourful, more stylized, and a bit more mad.
You want to see my man John?
Yeah.
Take my hexagonal penis, you horny bitch. I mean, Simon Farnaby is also, just so you know, Elton, so you got to put a face to a name. He was the security guard who found Hugh Grant's nun.
Very attractive nun.
Oh,
very
yeah.
attractive.
Yeah, very attractive nun. No, I'll happily describe him. Describe her. No, so I was just trying to work out whether or not maybe that's part of it. Because I don't think Paddington 2 is actually a kids' film. I think it's a family film, and I think like something like The Princess Bride or something like How to Train Your Dragon, I think adults can get what they want to get out of it, and kids can get what they want to get out of it.
Those two movies you just mentioned, I also appreciate, but they're not for me. I just don't.
No, which kind of adds fuel to the fire that there's certain film types you just don't dig, and that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I like it for what it is, but would I put it on myself? No, there's no way I'd put that on. There's no way I'd put Princess Bride on or How to Train Your Dragon. There are plenty of other movies hovering around that sort of type of movie that I would rather watch than this. Okay,
that's cool.
And I feel I'm not doing that to be contrary to anything or anyone, but I'm worried that maybe I shouldn't be worried, but I do worry that I should be liking this movie.
No,
and it's not that I don't. It's just not my thing.
No, I genuinely I was just genuinely curious. I wasn't there to focus on pulling you up on it. The reason I wanted to just focus on why you didn't like it or didn't get it was because if we at least know that, then at least we know where you're coming from. So therefore, we're not just doing that thing where people just go, "Oh, there's always the contrary one in the podcast." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'm not doing a thing. Don't worry about that.
I mean, you're quite clearly fucking are, but anyway. No, I'm joking.
No,
but
it's not.
No, I'm not. Anyway, I'm looking at you,
bollocks, mate, isn't it?
Fucking looking at you. I'm looking at you. Fucking circle of trust, my friend. Circle of trust. But anyway, no, I mean it is. It's just generally if there's types of films and types of shows that work and types that don't. There are things that you guys watch that I just go, what? The fucking G.I. Joe thing, for example, is prime example. So everyone's got their own likes and dislikes. I wasn't going to call you out on it.
No, that's cool.
I just wanted to get a sense of what you were thinking.
Another question I'd like to ask is: do you have any background with Paddington the character?
Yes,
because I grew up with these 70s little animated version with Sir Michael Horden.
Did you notice that in the film, by the way?
Oh yes,
there's
a
a real nod to
sequence.
that. Oh man,
yeah. That was like, oh, lovely.
I grew up with that. I remember having seeing that on the TV and absolutely adoring that. I flipping loved that. That was one of my things, along with Rupert the Bear as well. That was a thing that I flipping loved, which is totally wholesome as well.
No, see now I think Rupert the Bear's a shit.
He was a dirty fighter, mate. I tell you, he's a real sand in the face sort of fighter.
He was keysing the knuckles, keep them swinging and make it count.
Him and Mr. fucking Kipling. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah,
right?
No, so yeah, I'm not a fan of Rupert the Bear. Rupert can go do one. Him
and his tartan trousers.
Yeah, exactly. I never did get those back. Yeah, I am embarrassed. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? Report me to the bear police.
Wow.
Project Bear Tree.
Yes, let's just pause the show now. No? Hello?
Oh.
Fuck you. That was unbearable. Anyway. Right. Anyway.
It's because he comes from Nutwood, isn't it? That's what you got a problem with, isn't it?
Nutwood City Limits.
Yeah, Nutwood. Nutwood's where fucking Rupert comes from. You got a problem with people from there, ain't you? Fucking snob.
I have. Fucking Nutwood.
You
Don't
middle
like
class
Nutwood.
twat. so he looks a bit like a Chev in his yellow patriotic trousers.
In his fucking Burberry yellow.
Yeah,
fuck
Burberry
him.
yellow and his scarf. He's got the scarf to match.
Look at my fucking yellow trousers.
Look at my yellow trousers.
You look down on people like him, didn't you? You know he's doing an album with the Streets next week, didn't you?
Yeah,
I'm
sure he is.
Big comeback for a pair of them. Really is. Team up. Double whammy.
Anyway, even fucking Squirrel Nutkin can do one. Anyway, I'm in the Tufty Club. They're going to fuck off and all. Sorry,
I'm going to sort you out, mate. I tell you.
This is turned into anthropomorphic animals that Lee doesn't like. Sorry. Anyway, moving on.
God, it's going to be like a scene from The Craze. I came here for a gunfight.
Don't get me started on Gentle Ben.
Tell you what, Bear in the Big Blue House will fuck you up. They don't call him Bear in the Big Blue House for nothing.
Bear in a big blue dong. Anyway, so going on to the other guys, Jim, Darren. Let's just come away from focusing on Elton's negativity and his hatred of all things lovely. What did you think about the actual plot? Was it the plot that was driving this film, or was it really the interactions of Paddington? Because you could argue that this whole film is just a bunch of set pieces until the end.
Well, excuse me. Like I say, the other day online, I saw these stupid online polls, which is like, what's more important in a song, the melody or the lyrics? And the answer is both.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other. And I think Paddington 2 is a good example of that principle, because on one hand, you do have marvellous set pieces and the plot isn't terribly complicated, but it's beautifully paced and it's brought to life wonderfully in the set pieces by the characters and the interactions. And while, I mean, no one's expecting kind of Paddington the Shawshank Redemption or Paddington Scum. You know what I mean? It's going to turn out in the end. But I think the plot has enough twists and turns just to do things that you don't expect. Not necessarily for Nolan-esque plot twists, but just enough to take you by surprise. Like the pink laundry and little setups like that. Just things... Knuckles McGee's introduction, all these things that you wouldn't have seen coming necessarily, because it's just the problem like the Disney things we talked about, they tend to be very cookie cutter and they're formulaic, and every beat before it's going to happen because they've done it before, and it is just cranking the shit out.
Yeah.
Whereas Paddington 2 does a good job of just being, say, inventive, and things happen that are kind of, I didn't expect that. and it's genuinely charming because it is always giving you these little surprises. And the fact is, kind of, the more you learn about Hugh Grant's character, the more you actually like him, even though he's a baddie. But he's a pantomime baddie. I mean, you know, he's not going to stitch anybody up with a sock full of cue balls. And I think it just works very well like that. It's kind of a film like this, to be cozy, you have to sort of feel safe on the ride, as it were. But it's just well paced enough to give you the thrills, the dips, a bit of a giggle, and throw in a few things you're not expecting at the right time. That just makes it work so well.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Dal?
I think that is right. I think it's the for this, when it comes to the plot of the film that they've got, it's basically just it's the clothes horse, right? It's how you put the clothes on that clothes horse is very important, and I think they're all placed wonderfully. You know, so they say, right, okay, Paddington gets in trouble, goes to prison. That's the plot, right? Okay, there you go. How are we going to fill in the gaps? How are we going to make this work and make this an interesting plot? Because obviously this sort of thing has been done before in many other films, but how are we going to make this stand out? And it is the delivery. It is, and it's not like you feel as though you're watching 23-minute skits at all in this. It all nicely flows together. You know, it really does. And there's you've got your little bit of peril in there, or a little bit of sort of sadness where, Paddington thinks nobody cares about him anymore, that Knuckles was right, when actually the family is doing its utmost to try and get him out of prison. And it's investigating. It's just so intent on doing it that it's completely forgot about the visiting day because, well, it's more important they get the bear out.
Yeah,
I love I thought that was really good. It's that this is what drives him to do what he does. He's like, okay, I'm in, not a problem. Let's go. Let's get out. And then there's that whole sadness thing of him getting out, and he thinks he's got nowhere to go. And then all of a sudden, there's the bright light of the dustman turns up, and you're like, yes. And I did that a lot in this film. Like, yes. So it's just really nice to see those familiar faces, and it's that whole thing of how he brings the street together as well, and you see the effect it has when he's no longer there. Like the woman on the bike. Sorry, I'm really grumpy when I don't have my breakfast.
Yeah, Mademoiselle.
Yeah, and the fact that he's taking lessons from the guy driving the or who's on the dustbin truck, right? I mean, it's that kind of thing. It's just how he's reached out and touched all these lives, and nobody's thrown by the fact it's a talking bear. No, it's just part of the universe, and it's accepted, and so you accept it. That's it. It's nothing strange.
Yeah, I think that is the key, isn't it? I mean, it would be very easy to be very cynical about this film because it is about being nice. It is, as was the quote, is it? If you're kind and polite, the world will be right.
Yeah.
Which seems like a very naive, especially in this day and age, very naive theme. But
in that world, it's not.
In that world, it's not. And then the only time you get even the glimpse of a real world, it comes in the form of Peter Capaldi,
who I absolutely love in this film. Right, I really do. I just love him as a grumpy old git in this. He's just fantastic. I know he's supposed to be like the evil, like a bit of a villain in this, but it's just his delivery, right? I mean, he could just do a whole movie. I could just watch a whole film as him, as the grumpy old git. I really could, as that grumpy old git. It's it just really just plays up to it so well. And it's nice to see him play a grumpy old git that's not the level of like Malcolm Tucker or anything like that. He is just a grumpy old git. He's not totally and utterly malicious or anything like this. Yeah, he takes a bit of pleasure in, stuff that comes a cropper where Paddington's concerned. But again, it's like, Hugh Grant's character, by the end of it, it's kind of when you see him and he's like, "Oh, I didn't need to go on Broadway. I just needed a captive audience." I love that. Just the whole thing where they're doing the song and dance bit in the prison, and it's like, you know what? I could go. I just go with it. It's just lovely.
I love all it. The reason I find some of it so charming is it has the same, and this is going to sound really odd, it has the same level of care and detail to its humor as something like Airplane or Naked Gun. And what I mean by that is things like, did you see like the newspaper that Knuckles was looking at?
Yes.
Where it had things like where it had things like on the thing it had like money launderer going down, something like laundrette money laundering case, its case is going to be folded or something like that. It's got, you know, the company's folded. It had all these little tiny nuanced jokes. I really wish I could remember them, but the whole newspaper that Knuckles kept looking at, and as he changed the page, there was another like 3 or 4 dad jokes just sort of peppered through them. I'm so desperate to look for them now. Hold on. No, don't do that. Otherwise I'll be just sitting there looking at the fucking clips all night. But the thing was, there were so many little things like that, and there were so many gags which were throwaway, but were throwaway with some really clever thought behind them.
Yeah.
So, for example, there is the whole thing of in Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare, where it actually has the hilarious stage note of exit left pursued by bear. Exit stage left pursued by bear. But then you get Hugh Grant walking across the train, going exit stage bear, exit stage left pursued by actor. You know, just little things like that. Oh, exit bear pursued by actor. There you go. But then for every gag like that, then there's the sort of like the little slapstick ones. Like he says that and then immediately falls through the fucking roof of the thing, or the I can assure you, Mrs. Brown, the shotgun isn't real. You know, it's going to be a sucker gun. She goes, really? Fires it, and you just see that pause moment of the sucker just stuck in the middle of his forehead. It's like, oh, okay. And it's just, and there's so little innocent gags, and I think that's the thing. It's that sort of humor is something we sorely lack these days.
Yeah.
It's it's silly humor, it's childish humor, but it's done with an adult sensibility of kind of like timing and, you know, nuance and little bit of cleverness thrown in there, and you kind of sit there and the kids will laugh because they laugh at Hugh Grant getting a sucker dart fired in his forehead, whereas the timing of it is an adult double take gag, you know, sort of and you know things like when they go up in the loft, when they go up in Buchanan's loft, Mr. and Mrs. Brown go up in the loft, and it's like it's a secret loft, and he's like, no, it's just a loft.
Every house has one.
Every house has one, and then it's that kind of adult kind of interaction. You think, oh god, you know, we've all had that sort of with our significant other going, no, it's not the thing you think it is, you know, sort of thing. And he climbs up the ladder and he's going, look, it's a loft. Everyone has one. Oh my god, he's a weirdo. and it's things like that. It was just all the time, and it's just peppering those gags out, and you miss them, or you go, oh, that's quite funny. And then by the time you've done that, there's another one. And, you know, was it nice buns?
Do you know what? I love that one where Hugh Grant comes home unexpectedly and they have to hide. It's like, Henry, what are you doing in here? Oh, I insure this place. And so you get a free inspection. You and your wife. And he pulls the curtain back. You're like, yep, that window's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there was so many, and the whole thing with Buchanan sort of like talking to the dolls.
Yeah,
and he's talking to the dolls and using the voices, and they're all talking back to him. And you could just tell that Hugh Grant was just absolutely wailing it up.
Do you think that is what Wes Anderson does Silence of the Lambs would be like? Do you think that's about it? You know, some sort of like out of work English actor just talking to a bunch of sort of like mannequins that have got his old costumes on them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear! But I was going to say, but my favourite gag was the one when he's in prison and they're talking to Paddington and they turn the light off and he goes, "You can't trust them; they're criminals." And that bearded one looks the worst. You can't. His name is Knuckles. You can't trust anything. Look at them; they're all criminals. Yeah. We can still hear you. You've only turned the light off.
The microphone's on the other side.
On the wooden microphone.
On the button with microphone on it.
I love the when they kept having those all the criminals sort of like come together and they're introducing them. There's always that one at the end that goes,
Oh yeah, Rumbling Dave or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Davey Rumbles.
Kind of reminds me of was it Chocolate Mousse from what's that?
Top Secret.
Top Secret. That's it. And this is Chocolate Mousse.
Yeah, this is Poisson Soufflé. Déjà vu.
Have we met?
Have we met, monsieur? I don't believe so. Anyway, no, I just think that I love the innocence of the whole thing.
Yeah,
I really do, and I think it's a beautiful film.
There's some nice jokes as well that are kind of you get a laugh and an It's like when you go back to prison and when he first goes there, you say, Paddington disgruntled because no bedtime story. And then later when you cut back and you see the warden reading the entire prison a bedtime story.
Oh, I love that where he goes, time for bed. Yeah, time for bed, you lot. And you hear him all go, oh.
That's what makes you laugh. It's like stupid and unexpected. Like a throwaway line earlier. But it also gives you that kind of little bit of heartwarming. Go, no, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I have to say though, I found myself back in 2017, which I know is only 7 years ago, but back then you sort of laughing at it at certain bits. But I found myself with Mr. Brown's character, the bit when he's sitting there and he's going, "Oh, your hair falls out, your teeth fall out, you get a big fat belly, and before you know it, it's all over and done with." And then they go, "Weren't you very good at throwing a ball, Dad?" And he goes, "The days of being bullseye brown are long gone." And it does that cut to the 70s.
Yes.
And he's got the fucking hippie hair on, and it's like crazy like a fool. Come on, Daddy, cool. He fucking takes those 3 coconuts out in a single shot. It's such a naff gag, but it made me laugh so much. But the thing is, it's such a brilliant setup for when they meet Buchanan right at the end. And it's like, and just has him out at the end. I thought that's fucking genius because you're laughing at the gag, but then you're sort of going, "Oh, it wasn't a throwaway gag. Actually, it was Chekhov's gun, and we missed it.
It was Chekhov's coconut shy."
Chekhov's coconut shy. It's crazy like a fool. Come on, Daddy, cool. There's Sally Hawkins going, "You're amazing. You're so cool." What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, I know. I don't know about criticism. I mean, Jim, you said there was a lot to unpack. Help me, because otherwise I'm just going to froth about this movie and just tell jokes.
Well, no, we're doing a good part of that, saying what works and why it's good. I mean, another thing that kind of I noticed, particularly the second time watching it, is there are shots where you generally get an and that's not a heartwarming thing. That was really kind of like just look at that shot. It's like the overhead shot of the nuns filing in the torture position, and Hugh Grant's character peeling off and legging it. I mean, it's funny, but it's also just such an incredibly good shot. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's this kind of visual imagination that really explores the world. In a way, a film like this doesn't really have to. They could get away with doing a fuck of a lot less.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at nearly any of the other kind of big budget reboots of popular kid stuff from yesteryear that have sort of come and gone and just like Kaiser Soze. Magic Roundabout with all-star cast, CGI, gone.
Yeah.
CGI Peanuts, gone. No one even remembers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Top Cat.
Yeah. The Tory Party, gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice. Was it Ben Elton? A little bit of politics.
Did anybody watch the finale? Because, I mean, it was quite exciting, I must admit.
Well, the Tory Party.
Oh, the Tory Party, yeah. Wow.
Nah, not really.
It's the other week. Yeah.
I'll catch up on it later on. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? There's a level of visual filmmaking to this that is just just a delight for a film fan. Because you go, oh God, that's what a brilliant idea! Why would you film it like that? You know what I mean? You go, oh wow, you know, and you don't expect that from about a little bear from Peru.
Yeah, I mean, it's the amount of times they do little nods and drops, which are throwaway gags that you keep coming back to. Like, for example, with the toffee apple, when they first run across Felix Buchanan at the steam fair, and they're going through and Paddington's got the toffee apple and it sticks to his tongue and he's finding it really hard, and then he flicks it over his shoulder and the lady walks past and it just sticks to her coat and it just vanishes. And it's such a quick little gag, but then you realise that that's taught him that he can use the toffee apples as stickers to go up the sides of the train at the end. And it's little things like that. It goes into that sort of, that beautiful Back to the Future sweet spot where you go, everything that seems to be random isn't. It's been placed somewhere way down at the start of the film, and it's been crafted and crafted and crafted so that instead of doing that fucking Shaun of the Dead thing of like, the gun's not loaded, and the gun's not loaded, Reg has got his gun over the bar, and then all of a sudden, like 20 minutes later, it's like, the gun is loaded. See, I fucking told you. While that is a good gag, it makes such a song and dance about the gun and such a song and dance about the gun being loaded that it doesn't come as a shock when they finally do get the gun and it is finally loaded. It's just kind of like
everything is so subtle in this.
Yeah, and exactly. And with Paddington, you just kind of you're seeing it, but you're not realizing what's actually going on here. Like
There's so much going on, though, isn't there? There are so many jokes. There's so many little. I wouldn't even say jokes. It's just fun going on.
Yeah, and the thing with the extendable ladder and
the extendable, that's his little windy handle on that is so cute. It's like, and then he uses it to get across to the other train. He's just there, just winding away. It's so cute.
It is really cute. I mean, you can't deny that. But it's the thing is also it harks back to an earlier sort of type of movie, like the sort of Harold Lloyd's and the sort of old sort of Stan and Ollie's and Buster Keaton kind of gags where you're sitting there and like with Mr. Brown between the two trains.
Yes.
Ease your mind.
The yoga
comes. Yeah, exactly. Free your mind and your legs will follow. Oh! And even like just the more obvious ones, like Mrs. Brown wants to do diving and swim the channel and all this sort of thing. But when she goes to save Paddington, the bit when she dives in and you see her diving in to rescue him is actually the animated frames that she did at the beginning when it's introducing the fact that she illustrates adventure stories.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like, oh, it was literally the end of the film was right there at the start. And you go, it's very clever, very clever. And that's the kind of thing I appreciate. So even when you're sitting there kind of going, yeah, it's a kid's film, there's actually a lot more diving in there than you'd like to believe. And like I say, you know, Peter Capaldi's kind of, we don't want these kind round here, and all this kind of thing. And it's kind of beautifully setting up the fact that out in the real world, that's what kids are seeing. That's the kind of attitude that they're seeing. You know, we don't want immigrants around here coming around and taking our jobs and all this kind of thing. And there's Mr. Brown saying, you haven't liked him since the minute he got here.
Yeah.
For no reason. And then calls him out. And it's you know, it's a lesson wrapped up in a joke, wrapped up in a you know, second tier villain in Peter Capaldi. And then it makes a gag of it by having, you know, shit drop out of the fucking sky on him, you know, from the gutters. Look out below. Sorry.
Do you know, just as a random thought, I mean, talking about things that I really loved, I love as you say, there's a sort of like things are planned and there's knock-on effects and whatever. And it's the bit at the beginning where he's washing the windows and he goes, I'll just wash these windows for you anyway. And he cleans the Colonel's windows. And he's so like, you see the room suddenly light up golden. He's like, where's that coming from? And then because of that, he takes a look out the window and he sees Jessica Hines' character staring back at him. And then those two have that interaction. And of course, later on, they're together.
Yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't make a big deal of it, does it? It's just there they are. They suddenly both pop up at the window, both in their pajamas later on.
Again, it's that whole thing of the effect that Paddington has on that little society there. You know, this sort
goodness can come from kindness, can't it?
You know, he's connected to this, you know, and it's like he's the the catalyst for little things like giving things a tiny little nudge, even though it's unintentional. You know, and he's just trying to do a good deed for something else. It's the good deed turns into something completely different. It's great.
Yeah. It is great.
And the way they all come together for him at the end, that's the bit of it's you know, that's quite an emotional bit there where they all kind of just all of a sudden all come out of their houses at night and they have come to give him a hand. It's great. I love that.
To help Mr. Brown, and then later on. And then they're at the bottom of the stairs and they've all clubbed together with to get Aunt Lucy, and it's just like, oh, that's it. Bye, everyone. Lee's going out for Lee's going to go stand outside for a minute, stare at the sky, and you know, wipe some dust from his eyes because you know it's very dusty in that room.
It is very, very dusty.
Yeah, I just, you know, it's corny, it's cheesy, it's innocent, it's sweet, but it'll affect me far more than 100 fucking Frozens and half a dozen Moanas and all that bollocks. It's just no. This is a class above. But there you go.
Can I say my favourite part?
Yeah, sure.
I know because comedies turn into this quotathons, but
no, that's cool. That's what it always does.
Yeah,
cool.
The bit where Paddington squirts ketchup on Knuckles,
and he get ketchup out of the shirt.
Yeah, I know how you get it. I think he's thinking of like red wine as well, because I think the adults would think, oh yeah, red wine, white wine, isn't it? Yeah, just do that. And he squirts the mustard. Oh, I'm just rubbing it in, aren't I? That was the bit that that worked.
It's the prison guard as well, sort of going when he first squirts the tomato ketchup over him. He goes. Send a medic up to the room, and then as he squirts the mustard, and he goes, cancel the medic, send a priest.
Yeah,
and the entire room goes.
All the oranges as well. Yeah, sort them one at a time. One juicy orange, 2 juicy oranges.
What are you doing? Taking them one at a time, one suck at a time. Aunt Lucy says, "Well, Aunt Lucy's a right old bat, isn't she?" And then it's just that stare.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate your tone. Is it getting hot in here? Is it really getting hot in here? It feels hot. Shall I put the window open? Someone left the heating on. I love the fact they can actually escape from the prison just by going through the floor trap that they've already got. Trap the floorboard. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, even that, the bloody the gag about the clothes getting the red sock in them, and then when he gets all the clothes fall on him out of the out of the chute, and that's like the escape route.
Yeah.
And we're shown that right at the start. It's like, oh, all right, fair enough. It's just, it's genius. It's so good. I love Paddington 2 so much. It really is. It really is a bloody good movie.
Yeah.
I don't care.
When did we review Paddington?
Ooh, I will tell you.
It was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just
Hold
wondering.
on.
I think I must have felt about Paddington. At least I'm consistent. I felt about Paddington the same way, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's much different. Paddington. Hold on, let me just search for that.
That was quite early, volume 2, I believe, Paddington.
Yeah. Yeah, we the only Paddington that's shall we say live is us reviewing I Came By with with what's the Hugh Bonneville in it.
Ah, okay.
I'll hold on. I'll have to go back into the old archives.
Oh God,
I'm sure I can. Yeah, remember
Yeah, 'cause
that?
that was new out, wasn't it, at that time?
Yeah, Mr. Brown suddenly went a bit nasty there, didn't he? Yeah. Patreon posters with the podcast. There we go. Oh, good lord! No, that would take too long for me to dig through. But I think it was well in the sort of. I think it was somewhere around about. Man looks up thing on PC. I think that was about 20. I think that was about 2016.
Right.
We reviewed that. So yeah, that was only about 8 years ago.
Flipping out.
The first one. So I'll dig it out of the archive and I'll send you it. I'll send you the thing. You can listen to it and see if your opinions change. But anyway, yeah. Has anyone got anything additional to add? Because I'm very aware that we could just sit here and just quote the film all the way through, or I certainly could. Anyway,
no, I've got. I'm worried about incriminating myself and putting like bullseyes on me. So I'm like, no,
dude, there's no bullseyes on you. Like I say, I mean, we had the conversation about Fallout. Darren liked it. Jim liked it. Didn't work for me.
Yeah,
I don't have a bullseye on my back, and if I do, I don't care. You like what you like. You can't. If everyone liked everything, then what was the point of having a critical podcast criticizing or reviewing films?
Cool.
Might as well just have me go, I like this, and only reviewing things where I go, I like this, and then call the podcast, I like this.
Black Dog version 3 coming soon.
Yeah, Black Dog version 3 coming soon. Lee says, I like this. It's only 3 minutes long. Hello, everyone. I like this. Goodbye. Yeah, Lee only reviews films he likes. It's about 6. There's only about 6 or 7 of them. Anyway, so, and anyone got anything else they'd like to add?
No, I think I've said all I want to on this one.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm really glad you picked it. It raised my spirits. It made me weep like a like a kid on their first day at school. I just love it. So there you go. And maybe one day we'll do Wonka, and then Elton can hate that as well.
When you say Wonka, is that the latest one with Timothée Chalamet? Timothée Chalamet. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which is actually a good film. I'll go along with that on what Jim said. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. So there you go, and it's done by, and as Jim said, it's done by exactly the same team as this. So take it from there. Okie dokie. Mm-hmm. Right. Anyway, we'll leave it there. If anybody has anything they'd like to say about Paddington 2, positive or negative, do send it in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com or go on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, and leave a little message underneath the episode. And we'll read it out next week. Right. So that's that. I think we should do a little phrase that pays before we go on to the next movie. Anybody want to think something up?
Paddington Bears, Warm and Fuzzies.
Paddington Bears, Warm and Fuzzies.
Yep.
Don't destroy the only innocent memory in my head.
Okay,
please.
The Warm Fuzzies of Paddington Bear. There we go.
The Warm Fuzzies of Paddington Bear.
Yep.
Huge taint.
Or one juicy orange.
One juicy orange.
Or Hugh Bonneville's prison microphone faux pas.
Hugh Bonneville's prison microphone faux pas.
Yep.
There you go. Pick one of those, any one of those. Get a bonus if you get all four. And then post them up on the Facebook group so we know that you've listened to the end. Right, so we'll leave that there. So, Elton, it is your pick.
It is, yes.
And obviously, now that you've poo-pooed the beautiful innocence of Paddington 2 and kicked it to the curb and curb stomped it, are we watching American History X then?
Well, I was going to do In the Line of Fire, but I don't think I should be doing that this week.
Yeah. Or JFK.
Or JFK.
Yeah, maybe move along.
Yeah. I can hear Darren cringing. He's just turned into a big ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Day of the Jackal. We doing? No? Okay.
So,
Clear and Present Danger. Is that one? No, it's not. Right.
No,
Or
that's
All the President's Men? No.
No.
I was going to do a bona fide classic movie, but I've changed my mind to a film I haven't seen, and I don't think you guys have seen either. So this is going to be a fresh watch for absolutely everyone. It's on Amazon, and if you just want to check that it's on Amazon, just in case, otherwise, this has been all a mistake, and we shall be changing it. Okay. A brief intermission. The film we are going to be doing this week is called Corner Office.
What? Okay.
It's John Hamm.
Right.
And that's all I can tell you about it.
Hold on. Corner Office. Right, okay.
I haven't seen it.
Corner Office.
But it interests me. I've seen the trailer and it interests me.
Okay, I will read what it says. As Orson, the authorities' newest employee, finds himself trapped in the absurdities of corporate life, his alienation deepens when he discovers a room he's told doesn't exist. Okay.
I'm guessing you guys haven't heard or seen of this.
Absolutely not. No. It's got John Hamm in it, Danny Pudi from
Community.
From Community, yeah, and some other people.
6 Seasons in the movie.
6 Seasons in the movie. I'm a cat. I'm a sexy cat. Okay. Well, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Corner Office. Never heard of it before. Let's try it out. Oh, it's on Freevee.
Is that a thing?
No, it's the free.
With adverts.
With ads.
No,
it's all right. I've watched some stuff on Freevee on Amazon before, which it sticks some ads in before the credits and it sticks some going out of the credits.
Cool.
So it should be all right. But okay. that's different. I will. Well, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing Corner Office with John Hamm. I haven't seen it. I'm going to take a guess that no one else has seen it. Jim, have you seen it?
No, I've not. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Well, you're one step better than I am. What about you, Dal?
Never even heard of it.
No. No, me neither. It's definitely it's a thing. It's a thing.
Tis
I've
not
never
a
heard it.
shit-covered goggles nor a rose-tinted specs. It's a magical mystery.
It's a magical mystery tour.
Mystery Monocle. As we used to
Mystery
call it.
Monocle.
That's the fella.
That's the one. Dun, 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 with the jingle that we really can't do, or we're going to get sued by the Beatles. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing on Amazon Corner Office with John Hamm, which sounds like a makeover show. Corner Office with John Hamm. Let's see how it all turns out. We will see it on Amazon and let us know. Right, I'm really kind of interested now. It's been a long time since I've seen something that I've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
So there you go. Right, so we'll leave it there. We'll go over to Pimp's Corner. Jim, what's going on in Hypnagoria Land?
I've just released a reading of a very fine old monster tale by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up this weekend is tying into that is the next chapter of my kaiju history, because the Conan Doyle story is a very early British kaiju tale.
Okay.
Yeah. And also this week be a new commentary club in which we look at the original rollerball.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I wonder how that's going to roll out.
Actually, if you've not seen rollerball for a while, it's worth going back to.
Interesting.
All those boring bits that you thought were just talky head stuff is actually now very, very fucking frightening.
Yeah. Yeah. I've okie dokie. Well, there you go. And that's all over at hypnagoria.com.
It is indeed.
Lovely jubbly. And what about you, Elton? What's happening over at Rogue 2 Media?
Talking about cars going around in circles on the Grand Prix podcast, and I think we've just released, I can't remember what film we did on Band of Brothers. We're talking about Band of Brothers on the Band of Brothers podcast. There we go.
Okay. Lovely. And Darren?
Me? Not doing much.
Yes.
That's it. Apart from going to see Garbage in concert. And that's about it.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. Never mind. I was going to try and think of another garbage song pun, but I'll quit while I'm ahead.
I think you're paranoid.
Yeah. I was going to say the world is not enough, but I can't work that into a gag. But just stick with it. Just pretend I did it and it was hilarious.
Oh,
unlike all of my other jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. Well, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
No bother.
And thank you all for listening. And take care. And see you all soon when we will return for Corner Office. How curious. Until then. Take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.